Okay, so good day everyone. Now this is a pre-recorded video of our makeup class or a lecture about the small animal and metabolic disorders. So the coverage of this topic involves mostly diseases of dogs and cats, and of course, it is only highlighting some of the very important diseases in dogs and cats, but I'm not saying that you are required to study other diseases that was not mentioned in this topic. It is more likely a reading assignment. Okay. So the objective of this topic is to discuss the different abdominal and metabolic diseases in dogs and cats, including their etiology, epidemiology, and clinical manifestations. Then analyze the differential diagnosis, diagnostic procedures, and prognosis of the different abdominal and metabolic diseases in dogs and cats, and formulate treatment and preventive procedures for various abdominal and metabolic diseases in dogs and cats. Okay, so as an introduction, so abdominal and metabolic disorders in small animals involve a variety of organ systems, including the GI tract, hepatobiliary system, pancreas, endocrine glands, and metabolic pathways. So these disorders can present with overlapping clinical signs, making accurate diagnosis crucial. So just like what is presented here in the picture, that it is a very complicated means of what is happening in the animal's body. So technically, these are just representation of a normal metabolic pathway. And I know that you are already tackled that in your endocrinology or in your physiology classes. I'm just going to represent that picture for, as a review. However, we'll be focusing on what is abnormal and how to treat it. Okay, so for the diagnosis of small animal metabolic and abdominal disorders, so it is divided into three: clinical evaluation, laboratory diagnostics, and imaging. For example, in the clinical evaluation, we're going to discuss about the detailed history. Example, yung diet. Kasi merong mga diseases ng aso at pusa na relevant talaga yung kanilang pagkain. So for example, if in case your dog or usually eats a high-fat diet, it is expected that their pancreas might be overworked and it can result to pancreatic diseases, as well as if in case your dog is primarily eating dog food and less likely drinks water, then most likely it can result to potential bladder stones, especially that high protein diet predisposes to stone formation. Example lang yan, ha? And then, lifestyle. Of course, if yung aso at pusa nyo hindi nag-exercise, expected na yan na baka maging obese sila and so on, other ng mga ano. And then, previous medical history, because there are some cases that a certain metabolic or abdominal disorder can be genetically or inherited the type of diseases. So aside from that is physical examination, so abdominal palpation, and then vital signs. It's because na once you will undergo physical examination, it can also serve as a guide, especially on what specific location of the abdomen. There's a possibility na mayroong bulging or at least makahatag sa inyo ng guide, okay, the region that is swelling is on the stomach part, so most likely the disease is involved in the stomach or on the location where the liver is located. For example, pag abdominal palpation mo, the area where the liver is usually found is enlarged, then you might suspect there might be a potential hepatomegaly. And of course, upon assessment, upon further examination, nakita mo na mataas yung hepatic or mga liver function test niya. So that would suspect a potential liver problem. And then, body condition scoring. It is very important because there are some diseases, especially on abdominal and metabolic disorders, that can be correlated with the current body condition score of dogs. So for example, pag masyadong mataba yung aso nyo, so there might be a potential case. For example, baka neutered yung aso, so it can be just normal. Or if in case na kahit hindi siya neutered and then parang ang taba-taba niya, then it has something to do with the diet, or it has something to do with a certain metabolic disease that is happening in the dog's body or in the cat's body. Next is for the laboratory diagnosis. So, pwede natin ma-assess through blood test. Very vital is the CBC and also chemistry panel or blood, what do you call this? Blood chemistry. So it can be a liver enzymes, glucose, electrolytes, also as kidney function tests are also involved. Next is urinalysis because syempre basta metabolic disorders, the kidney or the renal function is also involved. Okay? That is why na if in case na anong tawag dito, if in case na merong problem sa buong katawan, usually nare-represent yan ng kidney. So for example, if mataas na yung protein level sa dugo, and then the kidney might expected to become injured, syempre, pag maraming protein, baka mahirap na yung salain ng kidney to the point na it will result to destruction of the kidney or the glomerular capillaries and other renal tubules, which will result to potential presence of protein molecule in the urinalysis, which might be not expected usually sa normal na urinalysis. So, and then hormonal assays, especially if the metabolic disorders involves, what do you call this? Which involves hormonal problems. So, thyroid, cortisol, insulin, ACTH, yes, involved din sila. And then endocrine test, and especially in the diagnosis of diabetes, hypothyroidism, and hyperadenocorticism, which will be discussed in the future or in the next presentations. Aside from that, you are going also to do imaging, for example, ultrasonography. So you need to evaluate abdominal organs such as the liver, spleen, kidneys, and intestines, and then radiography in order to assess for organ enlargement, fluid accumulation, or masses. Kasi baka yung abdominal or metabolic disorder, it has something to do with the potential trauma na nangyari inside, or it can be potential masses or mga tumors na meron sa katawan ng aso o pusa. And then biopsy, if in case meron ka nang nakita or may na-detect, then you're going to perform biopsy in order to assess if it's neoplastic, paraneoplastic, or it's just another thing na parang unusual na growth sa expected organ of the animal or the usual organ of the animal. And then CT or MRI for complex cases. So for example, nito, of course, for tumor assessment and any other na mga diseases, especially if it's pa-carry ng mga pet clinics, then it might be a potential pathway or gateway or diagnostic procedure na makabigay ng even detailed na assessment of a certain disease of dogs and cats. I guess we need to stop here because we're going to cut the video. But in the next part, we will going to discuss some cases with regards to abdominal and metabolic disorders of dogs and cats. So see you on the next presentation and have a nice day.